Let's cut through the mask. Most people won't ever admit they dislike you. They'll smile, laugh, even give you compliments. But behind those gestures, there's something off. A subtle tension. Fake smiles stretched too wide, compliments that feel like insults, and conversations that sound polite but leave you feeling smaller. You sense it, you felt it, but you brushed it off. Because we've been trained to be polite, to assume the best, to give people the benefit of the doubt, even when all the signs are screaming the opposite. I've been there, mistaking enemies for friends, trusting people who quietly rooted against me, smiling with those who gossiped the second I walked away. It didn't just cost me time, it drained my energy, it chipped away at my self-worth. But not anymore. Because Stoicism taught me something powerful. You don't need to hate anyone, but you do need to see clearly. Once you learn to spot the signs, you stop pouring your loyalty into the wrong people. You stop trying to win over those who are never rooting for you. And most importantly, you start protecting your peace like your life depends on it. Because it does. So in this video, we're going to uncover the 7 signs that someone dislikes you, but is hiding it. These signs are subtle. Some will surprise you, others will hit a little too close to home. You might not like what you hear, but that's okay. The Stoics didn't teach us to run from the truth. They taught us to face it with clarity, with courage, and with calm. Welcome to Stoic Spirit, where ancient wisdom meets modern power. If you find value in this kind of honest, no BS self-mastery, consider subscribing and supporting the channel. It helps us grow, and it helps you stay sharp. Now let's begin. Signs 1. They joke about you, but it's always at your expense. We've all heard it. Relax, I'm just joking. But here's the truth. There's a difference between laughter that brings people closer and laughter that quietly cuts someone down. If their favorite jokes are always about you, your looks, your voice, your intelligence, your past mistakes, then it's not humor. It's hostility wearing a smile. These people aren't joking with you, they're joking at you. And they get away with it because they know society has conditioned us to not take things too seriously. So they hide behind fake innocence, knowing that if you react, you'll be labeled too sensitive, too emotional, or even worse, insecure. But let's get stoic about this. Epictetus said, "You are not disturbed by events, but by your interpretation of them." So let's interpret this correctly. When someone repeatedly uses humor to highlight your flaws, it's not about fun, it's about power. They're testing how far they can disrespect you without consequences. They're pushing your limits, seeing how much self-respect you're willing to sacrifice for the sake of keeping the peace. I've seen this happen in friendships, in relationships, even in families. A cousin who jokes about your weight, a colleague who mimics your accent, a friend who constantly reminds you of your failures just for laughs. And you laugh along because you don't want to make it awkward, because you don't want to be that person. But here's the cost. Every time you let it slide, you chip away at your own dignity. And over time, those little jokes start to affect how you see yourself. You begin to internalize them. You start to believe the script that others have written for you. So what's the Stoic move? You don't need to explode. You don't need to retaliate. But you do need to draw the line. Look them in the eye and say, "I know you're trying to be funny, but it's not landing well with me." That one sentence, calm, firm, and direct, sends a clear message. I'm not your clown. Remember, real friends don't need to mock you to connect. They uplift you, not by ignoring your flaws, but by helping you grow without turning your insecurities into entertainment. A Stoic man doesn't laugh to fit in. He stays silent to stand out. Signs 2. Their compliments leave you feeling smaller. You're actually smarter than you look. That's impressive. I didn't think you had it in you. You're doing great for someone with your background. Sound familiar? These aren't compliments. They're insults wrapped in silk. Velvet punches. Words meant to disarm you while slicing deep into your self-esteem. And the worst part? They act like you should be grateful for it. This is what the Stoics would call poison disguised as praise. These backhanded compliments are designed to remind you of your place, to pat you on the head while keeping you beneath them. It's not encouragement, it's control. Why do people do this? Because deep down, they feel threatened. your growth, your glow up, your rising confidence, it unsettles them. They don't want you to notice your worth. So instead of attacking you openly, they chip away at your value, hoping you'll shrink just enough to stay under their shadow. Marcus Aurelius said, "The opinion of 10,000 men is of no value if none of them know you." In other words, you don't owe respect to someone just because they sound polite, especially if their words leave you feeling confused, minimized, or second-guessed. Here's how to spot it. A real compliment lifts you up without conditions. It feels clean, honest, straightforward. A fake one makes you second-guess yourself. You'll smile on the outside, but feel a little worse on the inside. So what's the Stoic response? Don't stay silent. Ask, what do you mean by that? That one question forces them to clarify, to face the double edge of their own words. Most people won't know how to answer because their compliment wasn't meant to empower you. It was meant to keep you in check. And if you say nothing, you validate their behavior. You give them permission to keep doing it. So next time someone tells you, "That's pretty good for you," just pause, smile if you want, then calmly say, "Interesting comment. Care to explain it?" Watch how quickly the mask slips. In the end, don't let someone else's fragile ego become the filter through which you see yourself. Confidence isn't arrogance, it's clarity. And a Stoic man protects his clarity at all costs. Signs 3. You're always left out, but it wasn't on purpose. You check your phone. There it is, their group photo. Everyone's smiling, out at dinner, drinks, maybe even on a trip. And you didn't even know it was happening. No invite, no message, not even a heads up. So you ask casually, like it doesn't bother you, "Hey, when was that?" And the answer always comes the same. "Oh, we thought you were busy. Totally last minute. We didn't think you'd be interested." Let's get one thing straight. That's not an excuse. It's an insult wrapped in courtesy. Because here's the Stoic truth. Intentions don't matter. Patterns do. If it happens once, maybe it's an oversight. But if it keeps happening, it's not accidental. It's intentional. They're slowly phasing you out, quietly deleting you from the group without having to say a single word. No confrontation, no clarity, just subtle exclusion until you get the hint and walk away on your own. And that's the coward's way out. Because real people, Stoic people, don't hide behind fake excuses. They communicate directly. But most people today would rather ghost than be honest. Marcus Aurelius said, "Associate with those who make you better." If someone consistently excludes you, leaves you out, or treats you like an afterthought, then ask yourself, is this making me better or smaller? I've been there, seeing the group hangouts online, wondering why I wasn't told. At first, I made excuses for them. Maybe they just forgot. Maybe I'm overthinking it. But here's the dangerous part. When you justify other people's disrespect, you slowly lower your standards. Until one day, you forget what real friendship even feels like. So what's the Stoic response? You don't need to beg for a seat at someone else's table. Build your own. Invest in those who make space for you without you having to ask. And if they keep forgetting you, then take the hint. Not as rejection, but as redirection. Don't cling to the story. Don't romanticize old connections. Sometimes people grow apart, and that's okay. But clinging to dead connections out of habit or fear, that's not strength. That's self-abandonment. If they're editing you out of their life, accept the edit and exit the scene with grace. Not in anger, not in bitterness, just with clarity. That's Stoicism in motion. Signs 4. They're always too busy, but never for others. You send a message. "Hey, want to catch up this week?" No reply. Or maybe one of those vague ones. "Super busy. Maybe next week?" And then you scroll through your feed. What do you see? They're out, having coffee with someone else, at the gym with a buddy, laughing it up in stories with friends. Busy? Sure, just not with you. Let's be real. "I'm busy" is the most polite way to say you're not a priority. It's not about their calendar. It's about your place in it. We've all been taught to accept busy as a valid reason to be sidelined. But Seneca warned us centuries ago, wasting time is the most extravagant loss. And that includes wasting it on people who are clearly not choosing you. Here's the harsh truth most won't say out loud. If someone wants to make time for you, they will. If they don't, they won't. It's that simple. No one is too busy to text back. No one is too slammed to schedule an hour once in a while. People find time for who they value. Now, don't get it twisted. People do get overwhelmed, and real life does get hectic. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about consistent avoidance, selective silence, the kind of busy that only applies when it's you reaching out. And the most dangerous thing? We tolerate it. We chase them. We send double texts. We check in, just making sure you saw this. Stop. The Stoic thing to do is this: match their effort, not their words. If they go quiet, so do you. If they don't show interest, don't try to convince them. You don't need a calendar invite to realize someone's not showing up for you. This isn't about ego. It's about respect. Your time is valuable. Your energy is sacred. And chasing people who've already made their decision to drift away, that's how you drain your own power. So stop texting, stop checking, stop waiting. Let their silence be your answer. And when you stop reaching, you'll finally see the truth. The people who matter don't need reminders. They show up. Let the rest go. That's not cold. That's clarity. If you've made it this far and you're finding value in these insights, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. It's one small click for you, but it means the world to us. It helps this channel grow, and more importantly, it allows us to keep creating content like this. Real talk, real Stoic lessons for people who need it. So if this message is helping you see things more clearly, support us by subscribing. Thank you. Signs 5. They avoid physical contact like you carry a disease. Let's talk body language. Because people lie with words, but their body rarely does. A pat on the back, a firm handshake, a friendly hug, these are basic human gestures. Small moments that signal trust, connection, and warmth. But when someone consistently pulls away from these simple interactions, only with you, it's not coincidence, it's communication. When they lean away as you lean in, when they avoid sitting next to you, when they stiffen at a handshake, they're sending a message of distance, discomfort, detachment. Now sure, some people are naturally less touchy. That's normal, but the key here is contrast. If they're fine hugging others, high-fiving teammates, leaning in during conversations, but suddenly cold and distant around you, don't ignore it. Their behavior is doing the talking, their mouth won't. And here's the real Stoic insight. We don't need their affection, but we must acknowledge their avoidance. Because pretending not to notice creates a false reality. And a Stoic never thrives in delusion. Think back. Have you ever felt someone subtly recoiling from your presence? Not because you did anything wrong, but because deep down, they don't want to get close. It could be jealousy, resentment, or simply dislike masked as formality. Whatever the reason, you deserve clarity, not confusion. Marcus Aurelius didn't chase relationships. He observed them. And that's your strategy here. Don't chase closeness. Mirror their distance. If they keep pulling back, you stop leaning in. Not out of spite, but out of self-respect. You don't need to beg for connection. You don't need to fix the vibe. If their energy feels cold, trust the temperature. And here's something powerful. When you stop forcing closeness, you make room for something better. Authentic connection. The kind that doesn't flinch. The kind that welcomes you in, naturally, without tension, without games. So don't try to decode silence. Don't explain away awkwardness. Let absence speak where words won't. That's Stoic power. Not in forcing bonds, but in recognizing when they're no longer there, and having the strength to let them go. Sign 6. They disappear when you're down. Here's a brutal truth about human nature. Most people love the highlight reel of your life, but vanish when the credits roll and reality kicks in. When you're winning, when life looks good, they're right there beside you, laughing, hyping you up, posting selfies together. But the second you stumble, health crisis, breakup, career setback, they ghost you. No check-in, no how are you, not even a one-line text. And that's not just inconsiderate, that's revelatory. Because as the Stoics taught, a friend to all seasons is a rare and noble thing. True friendship isn't tested in celebration, it's tested in suffering. When life breaks you open, you find out who's really in your corner and who was only there for the perks. Some people aren't friends, they're opportunists. They weren't there for you, they were there for the version of you that served them. The entertaining one. the successful one, the one who made them feel good about themselves. But when you become vulnerable, when you need support without offering something in return, they vanish, quietly, conveniently. I've lived through this. I've seen people I once stood by go completely silent the moment I needed them. And you know what I learned? Silence is its own form of betrayal. Now, Stoicism isn't about needing people to fix us. It's about recognizing who's real when we're broken. And not out of bitterness, but from clarity. So what's the Stoic move? Don't confront them. Don't beg for their concern. Don't lash out. Simply observe who shows up and who doesn't. Then adjust your circle accordingly. If they disappear in your darkest hour, that's all the closure you need. And don't let their absence make you bitter. Let it make you better. Use it as a filter to refine your relationships, because life's too short to carry the weight of people who only love you when you're shining. And when you find the few who check in without being asked, who stay by your side when things get ugly, honor them. Protect them. Keep them close. That's rare. That's gold. Everyone wants to be there when it's easy, but the ones who stay when it's heavy, that's family by choice. So if someone disappears when you're down, evict them from your inner circle, quietly, with grace. And never open the door again. You're not being harsh, you're protecting peace. That's not ego. That's Stoic discipline. Sign 7. They gossip about you, but smile to your face. This is the deadliest form of hidden dislike, because it's the most disguised. These people don't avoid you. They don't ignore you. In fact, they might seem like your biggest cheerleaders. They laugh at your jokes. They compliment your work. They send heart emojis on your posts. But behind the curtain, it's a different story. They twist your words. They share your private struggles. They whisper your mistakes to others, not to help you, but to hurt you. They turn your vulnerability into ammunition. And worst of all, you often find out too late. There's nothing more gut-wrenching than hearing your own story, mangled, mocked, and misrepresented from someone else's mouth, especially when that story was shared in confidence, especially when it was shared with someone you trusted. The Stoics warned us, the tongue can destroy a reputation faster than any sword. And gossip, that's the silent killer. It damages not just your image but the foundation of every relationship it touches, trust. Now pay close attention here, because this one's tricky. Gossip rarely sounds like an attack. It often comes disguised as concern, just sharing, or trying to process. But make no mistake, if they talk about others to you, they'll talk about you to others. It's not a one-time thing, it's a pattern. And here's what makes it even more dangerous. It spreads fast. One tiny distorted story mutates through whispers, and soon you're being judged for things you never said, feelings you never expressed, or mistakes you never made. So how do you respond? With precision, with control, with Stoic clarity. Don't confront them in anger. That just fuels their narrative. Instead, once you have clarity, once you've seen the pattern, cut ties, not dramatically, not with accusations, just with finality. Distance is your sword. Silence is your shield. And don't feel guilty, because gossip isn't harmless. It's betrayal disguised as small talk. It's a breach of sacred ground. You shared your truth, and they weaponized it. Once trust is broken, it doesn't come back the same. You might forgive, but the bond is altered. And as a Stoic, you don't rebuild bridges that were set on fire intentionally. Remember, your inner circle should be a fortress. Not everyone deserves a key. Not everyone who smiles at you is safe. So choose wisely. Keep your circle small, and if someone gossips, cut the cord, quietly, firmly, completely. Because the ones who gossip for you will eventually gossip about you, and the ones who speak truth to your face, even when it's hard, those are the people worth keeping. Let your relationships be built on respect, not rumor. And if someone ever confuses your silence for permission, remind them that Stoic strength isn't loud. It's decisive. Life is far too short to keep questioning where you stand with people. You shouldn't have to decode silence, overanalyze body language, or second-guess every interaction. If someone truly respects you, you'll feel it. And if they don't, you'll feel that too. The Stoics never asked us to hate anyone, but they did teach us to observe, to see things as they are, not as we wish they were. And once you begin to pay attention to the patterns, not just the words, you'll see the truth with absolute clarity. Marcus Aurelius said, "Never value anything as profitable that forces you to break your word, lose your self-respect, or hate another." And that includes relationships that drain you, connections that confuse you, people who smile to your face while wounding you in silence. Because here's the real power. The moment you start valuing yourself, you stop tolerating their behavior. You stop over-explaining. You stop defending your worth. You stop chasing people who made the decision to walk away long before you noticed. True Stoicism isn't about suppressing your emotions. It's about owning your space. It's about recognizing what you can control and walking away from what you can't. So if they joke at your expense, exclude you, vanish when you're struggling, or talk behind your back, don't fight for their approval. Walk away, calmly, quietly, completely. Because you don't need loud exits, you just need firm boundaries. And once you draw those lines, you'll start attracting people who don't need to be convinced to value you. They'll do it naturally. So walk away from the fake smiles, from the backhanded compliments, from the people who only clap when you're losing, and walk, unapologetically, toward your power. Thank you for watching Stoic Spirit. If this message resonated with you, make sure to subscribe and support the channel so we can keep sharing ancient wisdom for modern strength. Until next time, stay calm, stay clear, and stay true to who you are.